Which unrealistic scenario that happens in P has happened to you in real life? I was at the beach one day with some friends. We were swimming next to this chick who appeared to be looking at us, so I went up to her and asked what she was doing later. She replied, "You." She was right. Why doesn't this ever happen to me? I delivered pizza for a few years. There was this one lady that ordered from us twice a week. She would always flirt at the door with whatever driver was there. I guess flirting wasn't enough for her because one day I knock on her door and she answers in an open bathrobe, says she doesn't have enough money to pay and invites me in with a wink. It's every delivery driver's dream, right? Yeah, except this lady was about 390 pounds and smelled like 2-week-old toe jam. I politely declined, but she was persistent that she has to pay for her food somehow. I camped the pizza and never delivered to that house again. The following week she ordered from us again. The driver who took her order came back white as a ghost and told the manager he won't deliver to her again. He never did say why. Haha, he took the bait. Delivering pizza. Prostitute looking woman answers the door nude. Another one. Delivering pizza. Very attractive woman answers the door wearing no pants, undies and a t-shirt. Multiple sugar gliders crawling around on the floor of her apartment behind her. That happens in P, right? Googled sugar glider thinking it was some slang term for a crack W or something, but now I'm even more confused. I'm a self-defense instructor. Gave a girl some private lessons for free. We were the same age and adults. We started to become friends. After a few she asked me to go to dinner as a thank you. It became a regular thing. On about our third dinner, out of literally nowhere she blurts out, "If you and your girlfriend ever want to have a threesome, I'm game." Shocked, I asked her some follow-up questions. I hadn't done it before, but knew my GF was possibly into the idea. About a month later, the three of us are hanging out at that girl's house, and my girlfriend sits on the couch between us. We both start rubbing her legs, back, etc. Finally, my girlfriend looks between us, sighs, and says, "I'm getting jumped by both of you here in a minute, aren't I?" And then she did. Was fun, went on for a few months. Dude, your girlfriend is a real champ. Was laying in bed late one night watching TV. It's probably around 2 in the morning. My sister was having a sleepover. Her friend comes into my room, takes her top off, climbs under my sheets and starts sucking my dong. I had said about 10 words to her in my entire life. This happened 2 more times from the same girl. This happened to a good friend of mine. I already know you're not him, because once she got the nerve to do it once, she jumped his bone in full as often as possible. She would show up, frick him and leave right away, just go hang out with his sister as if nothing was going on. In high school in the 90s I went through a witchcraft phase. I know. Had a little circle of girls that would get together at Becky's house and do freaky stuff during sleepovers. Being frisky teenagers, that regularly devolved into making out. My favorite memory was 5 of us taking turns strapping each other to Becky's sister's bed, teasing the bound girl with ice cubes and licking the water off various fun places. Never sure if I'm amused or proud of my moment with a coven of teenage witches getting kinky. One night I found myself sleeping on the couch because my freshman roommate brought home a one-night stand. She tried to make it up to me when I was in the shower the next morning. Going. Had a girl at the office do something. Really don't even remember what. I shook my head and said, "Oh man, you suck." She responded, "Yeah, I do. The big question is, do I swallow?" She did. Gonna start saying that to every girl until I get this outcome. In community college I had this total MILF French lady in my biology class who always asked me for help. One day she asked if I could come to her house for private tutoring. I really tried to keep my mind out of the gutter when I went to her place and keep it professional, but eventually I just said frick it and made a move on her. It was like something out of American Pie. She gave me this long full body massage with candles and oil and put on this crazy tantric sitar music and I smashed all night. I was at a friend's house in his parents' giant like 12-person hot tub. Lots of us didn't have swimsuits, so I was just wearing my boxers. Lots of girls wearing just bra and panties. More and more people start getting in and people start sitting on other people's laps. This cute Wiccan goth girl sat on my lap and I got aroused. I was embarrassed. She turned around and smirked at me, reached down and pulled her panties aside and slid my dong into her. She was grinding slowly and everyone was having a good time. Everyone was joking and talking. She was carrying on a conversation like nothing was happening. Everyone's laughing, splashing, whatever. I tap her on the shoulder to warn her I'm about to CM. She smirks again at me and just sits down all the way to the base. I came inside her. She sat there for a minute laughing with everyone, talking with everybody. I slid out of her, pulled my boxers back over. She casually reached down and pulled her panties back over. We sat there like that for another half hour or so just drinking and bullshitting. Then eventually people went back inside and we all got out and went to get dressed. We hung out in different rooms the rest of the night. I only saw her when I went to get more beer. She came downstairs to leave with her friend and whispered, "Don't worry, I'm on the pill," to me with another wicked smirk. I just kind of smiled and she waved goodbye. I realized after she left I didn't know her name or who she was. She didn't even go to our school. I still don't know, and it's been more than 20 years. TLDR. Got fricked by a goth chick in a hot tub. Didn't know who she was. Thanks for the boner. In high school, I went to this girl's house. We were friends but not really close ones, but she knew I was good with computers. Hers was messed up, so she asked if I could fix it and I figured sure. So anyway, she said it wouldn't power on anymore. So I do literally nothing to her computer but hit the power button and it's booting up. As I'm standing there looking at the screen wondering how stupid could this girl be that she didn't hit the power button. Hands come around my waist from behind and down my pants. As she said, "Oh, you fixed it." Got my first beach that day. I speculate that the last part was her intention from the start. This happened when I was in college. Now that I am older I am savvy to the fact that certain public restrooms are used as areas for gay men to meet for anonymous fricking. I suppose I should have learned this from Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, I am settling in for a comfortable turd production setting and notice a hole in the wall next to me and think, that is weird, they must be installing a new toilet paper dispenser. Anyway, someone walks into the stall next to me, and next thing I know, a bobbing erect dong slowly makes its way through the hole. I am a little taken aback at this point, so I'm clinging to the adjacent wall for dear life. Not sure what I was thinking at this point, but I backhand slapped said offending dong and yelled no thank you. The dong retracted, strangely slowly, and the person on the other end exited the stall and shuffled around outside my stall for a while I drew my knees up to my chest and covered the hole in the stall with my hand. Crap was not cash. No thank you. I love how you're still so polite, OMG. Winter break. I get stuck at the airport for 6 hours due to a mechanical issue with the aircraft. At this point I'm just ready to board this dang plane, order a beer and pass the frick out. Get to my seat and there's a nice Spanish girl sitting next to me. Petite body, couple years younger than me. Okay, maybe this won't be so bad. We start to chat and I proceed to start slamming $7 airline beers to pass the time. I guess I got a little tipsy and not long after when making out in the middle aisle of this packed airplane. Normally I'm not so bold, but the combination of alcohol sleep deprivation made me want to see where things would go from there. Maybe 10 minutes later she's sitting on my lap with her hand down my pants, which drunk me was totally cool with, but in retrospect we could have easily been found by a steward or something. She then whispers that I should meet her in the bathroom in 5 minutes. I'm thinking, holy crap, is this really gonna happen? No it isn't. She got busted by a stewardess when she peeked out of the bathroom door to see if I was coming. I relive that scenario in my head every day. TLDR. Got dong blocked by a flight attendant at 30,000 feet. Almost a mile high club. Hanging out with 2 female friends on Valentine's Day celebrating being single. After a long night and a little alcohol, the girls start making out and kept saying we should go to the bedroom. I took that as my cue so they could finish their business. A few days later they asked why I left. So basically I was trying to be polite and missed out on a threesome. Although both got treated for gonorrhea about a month later. So I dodged that bullet. Chivalry equals no diseases, apparently. Hot plumber who was a guy I knew from school, few years older than me, was fixing next door neighbor's outside drain as I was sunbathing. Too much weed and beer in the sun meant frisky me, so I stood up and flashed him. He went bright red and smiled. An hour later he was at my door checking my drain wasn't blocked. Mother came in my mouth before I got a chance to frick him. Don't suck a dong so dang good. I once got laid because of a hamfest. For those of you who don't know, a hamfest is when a bunch amateur radio operators get together and sell each other junk. It's like Comic-Con but for people who know minute details about computer chips and CB microphones. I went to a few of these fests in the early 90s and spotting a woman, let alone one near my age, let alone one I wanted to frick, was so amazingly rare that I just didn't even bother looking after a while. Until my last fest, minding my own business helping my buddy sell some Amiga stuff. She asks about games, nothing technical, and it's clear she cares more about talking to me than she does about computer stuff. I ask, so why the heck are you here? She showed up with her grandfather to help him out. He was selling off his really old ham radio crap and she didn't want him going alone. Nothing happened at the fest, but later that night we got our freak on. When I was much younger I met a girl randomly one day. Within a half hour we were making out and it was getting pretty intense. At this point I had only kissed a few girls and never really had full-blown makeouts like this. She tells me she has to go, but I should come by her place later. She only lives like half a mile from me, so a few hours later I show up and she lets me in. The makeout resumes and a few minutes later her friend walks in. I was startled and they both start laughing. Then they tell me to relax and the friend joins in. I was so overwhelmed I can't believe I didn't jizz in my pants. There was a lot of fooling around but no fricking. Many years later when I was 24, I was at a party. The crowd thinned out one by one and eventually there was just a few of us left. I was DD for a friend of mine. When I started to make the rounds and say goodbye, the host tells me to please not go. She wants me to stay, heavily suggesting she wants to bang. I say well I gave Joe a ride and she says that's the point. I want both of you. An hour later I was having a threesome. Not what I expected at all when I left the house that night, especially after agreeing to be the designated driver. When I want things like that to happen it's impossible to arrange. I was DD for a friend of mine. No, you were just one D. He was the other D. I once turned up to a nice big house to appear in a porno and the lady of the house made me fix her washing machine. As a new CZWF 10487 WR, 10 kilograms load and 1400 spin, a nice little number. Bearing had gone. 10 kilograms load and 1400 spin, unzips. I work as a valet in a rich suburb of Chicago. Every first Friday of the month the restaurant I work at hosts a singles night which mostly consists of people 30 and up. All night while I was working, older guys in their 50s and 60s would come out for smoke breaks and said how it was a meat market inside. I'm pretty sure I parked cars for 2 or 3 prostitutes. Anyway, at about 10 PM this smoking hot MILF comes outside. 6 foot, blue eyes and perfect teeth, and complains about how everyone there is lame and how disappointed she was because she doesn't get out much. Her and I talk for a solid 45 minutes. She would even wait by the valet podium as I got cars. The topic of herb comes up and she tells me about how she hasn't smoked in years. Me being the stoner I am asked her if she wanted some of the bud in my car. She politely turned me down. I wasn't hurt or anything because I was sure she wasn't into me physically since she's 6 foot and hot. And I'm 5'8" and got out of shape the last few months. I just wanted to make her night a little better. We talked for a few more minutes and she left, disappointed in her night overall. Fast forward to 1:30 AM as I'm putting away valet signs and just as I'm about to leave she pulls up to the curb and asks if my offer to smoke her up is still on the table. Of course it was. It's nice having someone to smoke with and I felt bad for her. She was a genuinely nice person and had bad luck at a singles meetup filled with a bunch of creepy old rich white guys. I hop in her car and we drive to my car in the back of the parking lot. I open up the moonroof that extends all the way to the back row of my SUV. I light the blunt. We recline our seats to look at the night sky, and I play some Pink Floyd. She mentioned she was a fan earlier in the night. Everything seems okay in the world in these moments. It was so relaxing. Talking to an older person and sharing different experiences while connecting like long lost best friends. I'm still not expecting anything physically whatsoever. Then while I'm talking her ears off I feel something around my belt buckle. Figured I was just tweaking from the bud. About a second later I look down from the sky and I see her leaning over the center console taking my belt off and unzipping my pants. I shut the frick up. The next 10 minutes were the best 10 minutes of my 20 years on this earth. When I finished she got up, we moved our seats back, and I didn't know what to say. After like 5-10 seconds of just staring into her soul via the door that was her beautiful blue eyes, she said, "Thanks, I really needed that," and poof, she was gone. I don't know her name, and I don't know what she was thankful for. She just gave me the best night of my life and all I did was give her average dong with above average herb. Lucky bastard. Sounds like a perfect night indeed. Was kinda hot for wife's best friend from childhood who lives across country. Wife's friend comes for visit for a week. One night I'm already in bed while they stay up drinking and catching up. Turns out they get loosened up and start making out. They come up, wake me up, tell me they're worked up and would like some help. Threesome. I was delivering a sofa to a customer one day. She didn't have any money to pay me but said we could come to some kind of arrangement. I didn't want to lose my job so I just muttered, "Sorry, I'll come back another day, okay bye," and drove back to the shop. I was impressed with myself. I hadn't been late in months. On my first day of delivering pizzas I had a woman answer the door in a towel. She explained that she thought she had more time before I arrived, but she also lived about a mile from the store so I got there pretty fast. The transaction was normal. Didn't frick. I wanted to say did someone order a pizza when she opened the door but didn't feel like getting fired after 4 deliveries. My girlfriend dumped me for another guy and then wanted me back. She conceived a plan with her friend to win me back, which was my first threesome. And, yes, it worked. We dated another 3 years. Happy ending. I had a girl over and we ordered pizza and then decided to frick while we waited. I'm female. BTW. And as we finished up, I heard the apartment doorbell. I got dressed quickly and went to pay for the pizza. And as I was signing the receipt, the girl comes out of my room wearing nothing but my hoodie, barely covering anything, and thanks the pizza guy with a cute little smile. That's a fun game to play. Did it with my boyfriend once and I can rate it 10/10 for sure. Partly because he takes too long of a time sometimes but this made him hurry up quick. I had a threesome. MFF. My very first night of college. Roommate who hadn't moved in yet arrived with his family, including high school age brother, the next morning while the 3 of us were still in bed. The looks on their faces were pretty priceless and his brother topped it off with "I can't wait to get to college." To clarify, I was with 2 girls when he and his family walked in. I'm in college and there are a lot of people from different states of the country. One of them is my best friend. This one day he had to get something he forgot for his test but he was in class, so he asked me to go get it. I went to his classroom and he gave me his keys. Like a lot of guys renting around, he shares an apartment. He specifically shares an apartment with 2 girls. So I get to the apartment and went in. I get in the wrong bedroom and there I found one of her roommates going at it. She stared at me. I said "I'm sorry" faster than Eminem on Rap God. I got out, then she comes out and says she's sorry. I was like "WTF is your house, it's my fault," and she hits me with "if it was your fault then you should make up for it." And we went at it. My friend ended up going for his paper. He never knew. TLDR. I fricked some guy's wife while she was on the phone with him. Met a 30-something woman online. Attractive. Well kept. Nice legs. Great butt. So we meet and it's for the express purpose of fricking. We already knew our intentions beforehand so there was no confusion. I met her after her workout at the gym. She snickers that my car isn't big enough for what she's got in mind and would I mind coming back to her place. So I'm amicable to that and drive over the few blocks to her place. In we go and off comes everything as clothes are strewn about like some cheesy romantic comedy. We get right into it then and there in the living room. In a short while I've got her bent over her black leather couch and with each thrust it moves a little more from the living room to the dining room. It's at that point that she gets a phone call and she answers. So I'm balls deep in her at the moment and freeze. She looks back over her shoulder at me and frowns, then starts wiggling her cute butt back and forth to get the point across that I'm not supposed to stop. The call continues and I try to nonchalantly keep fricking her, but over the course of the next minute I figure out that the person on the phone is her husband. I really figure it out when she starts saying things like, "Yeah, right now babe, it's good. It's really freaking good. Wish you could be here." So I stopped a game to get clarification, and she looks back at me. "What's wrong? Who's that on the phone with you?" "My husband." There's a slight pause and she realizes more information is required to assuage my confusion. He gets off on hearing me or watching me getting fricked by other men. "So, he's cool with all of this?" And she nods, winks, and continues the conversation. "No, it's fine. No, he didn't realize. Yeah, he's back at it." Then she transitions to narrating our romp like a porno for the blind. It was such a surreal and potent experience. Hearing her describe how she was feeling as I fricked her. Hearing her describe me in such a graphic and positive manner. It was incredible. Literal cuck. Wow. A couple years back, I worked as a delivery guy for a pizza place. I go to a trailer in a really crappy part of town. I go there and this older black lady answered the door. She went into another room to get some cash, I assumed. She comes back wearing nothing but an open robe, exposing most of her boobs. I noticed this and tried to make as little eye contact with her or her body as possible. I gave her the receipt and she said, "I can't make this crap up. I can give you a different kind of tip." Those words still haunt me in my sleep. Anyways, I told her no thanks and left. That was one of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life. Yes, I'm the guy from the F-fucked video. I didn't know I was being recorded. I didn't know that it was online, and I've never heard of F-fucked until I made this comment. When I was delivering pizza, I had several women open the door in various stages of undress. Only got offered a frick, actually a handy, once, and I'm fairly certain those girls were underage. So I noped the frick right on out of there. I got some creative tips over the years, but never that. I've had a stripper ask me to rub lotion onto her back at a pool hanging out at the home of a mutual friend. Opted to let the young college-age guy present do the honors instead. Got to enjoy watching him pitch a tent. Everyone was a winner. Before my GF and I were dating, she came over to my house. We had sent obscene texts a lot previously and today was going to be the day. Right before we fricked, I go over to my trusty Modern Warfare 2 video game case and pull out 2 condoms. I've never been so proud in my life. Thanks you, Captain Price. Went to a Halloween party with some friends and was a DD. Long story short, my friends' friends wanted to head back to the dorm to change outfits since they were planning on going to a second frat party. Since I'm the only one sober one, I'm volunteered by my friend to take her friends back to their dorm so they can change. So I drive them up, but they say that it'll take more than 15 minutes to change and put on their new costume makeup. So I park my car and head up with them at their request. Still think nothing of it. If anything, I'm annoyed I'm driving around people dressed as the guy from Workaholics in a bear suit. So while at the dorm, the girls at some point say I should take off the top portion of my costume since I look hot in it. So I do. Next thing, they ask to help them remove their corset as they were applying makeup. I'm visibly nervous at this point and so I unzip them super quick. So quickly that the girls make a joke that I must be really good with my hands if I can't take off their clothes so quickly. I turned super red and they told me to relax. Next thing you know, I have green witch makeup on my crotch and lion makeup all over my face. We didn't make it to the second party and just ordered pizza instead. We didn't ever have a threesome together ever again, but I did become each of theirs their own booty call for the rest of the year. Moral of the story, being a DD has its perks. A girl I had seen 2-3 times from Tinder asked me to bring over Chinese takeout at about 8 PM after a long day at work. On the way she texted me and said her friend was there and wanted to make sure I was okay with that. We eat some Chinese food. Then I had a 6-hour-long our bedroom couch threesome with 2 beautiful young women, Puerto Rican and Jamaican college students. I think you're Jamaican that story up. Job interview. Her interview wasn't going great. She tried flirting, which doesn't register much with me, so she undid a few buttons and asked if giving me a BJ would get her the job. I guess she figured she flunked the interview. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.